What's going on, guys? I have a little review slash updated walkthrough video for you today. Been getting a lot of questions down in the comments about my horizontal rod storage, so I figured it's time to give an official review of the Gadget horizontal rod stagers and show you how I have them set up on my Nucanoe Unlimited. So here they are, guys. Gadget horizontal rod stagers. They come in several different configurations, but I opted to go with just the four rod holders. So I have 4 over here and 4 over there. You can get them where, you can do 3 rods, or you can go 2 rods and a paddle holder in the middle, or there's several different options you can get. And the nice thing is, once you buy them the first time with the bracket, you can actually go back if you ever change your mind or want something different and just buy the top plates, and it's quite a bit cheaper. I don't quote me on this one, but I want to say it's like around 40 bucks just to get a new set of top plates. But these things are worth their weight in gold. There's no way I'll ever go back to carrying rods vertically on the black pack. This is the only way I'm stowing my rods from now on. And it's super nice on the Nucanoe Unlimited because you're able to actually mount them down on this lower inside track, which allows them to be super low profile and super tight to the kayak. And it also won't interfere with your swivel seat. You can still swivel the seat around, no issues. I've had no issues landing fish or anything like that. I've never felt like they were in the way. The only time it was slightly inconvenient was the one time that I fell in the water. You can go back and watch that video. And I did have to take a minute and kind of shift the rods over out of the way before I could re-enter the kayak. Run both. For the most part, I do run a set on either side, so I can run 8 rods laying horizontally on the deck. But I mean, if I'm going out and doing something real specific, like I know I'm just targeting shallow fish, or going out and fishing docks and laydowns, or if I know I'm just going to be fishing offshore structure, then I will just run 1 and only carry 4 rods with me and keep the other side open. But most of the time I run it in this configuration where I have the 8 rods on either side. And you can actually, if I do run my measuring board here, but if you didn't run the measuring board here, you can actually lay down another rod kind of inside this little track area here in between the bolts. So realistically you can get 5 rods on either side and carry a total of 10 rods laying down on the deck that way. But they do have a hole in the back and a little hook in the front. And I went to Academy, and actually I think this is Gadget replacement bungee. You can get it in their little kayak accessory section, and you can actually bungee the rods down. I mean, they're super secure with that little bungee system. They're not going anywhere. So if you do get into any rough water type situation, then you can lock the rods in there and not have to worry about them popping out. The only thing I will say is I do not haul the kayak with these things attached. I do take them off, and just to be safe, I don't want them blowing off down the interstate or anything. So I mean, on a short trip, like if you're just ramp hopping and the other ramp's real close, it would probably be fine. And I actually think we have another guy in our club with the Unlimited. I'm pretty sure he even leaves his rods bungee down like this when he's making a short run to another ramp. But me personally, I'll take them all off and I'll pull the stagers off on long hauls. So it's been my biggest issue rigging this kayak out, because I mean, I do find myself fishing off of the side of this thing a lot, or like trying to skip up under a dock, you know, and I'm fishing parallel or even fishing off of the back of the kayak. And that being the case, anything that you have sticking up back here in the back gets in the way. It really interferes with your cast. So trying to get this thing rigged out to where it works for me and it's efficient, but still keeping as much stuff as I can laying down and out of the way has been a little bit of a challenge. Like the camera, for instance, where I'm running the camera right now, that's going to have to change. I'm probably going to move it onto the back here where I'm keeping the flag now, and you know, I'm probably going to get a smaller net so I can try and stow the net laying down somewhere kind of out of the way. But I mean, that was never an issue for me in the Titan, because I mean, I literally always fished to the front of the kayak. It's just the way that kayak is designed. But you know, with this one, you got all this deck space in here, and you have the stability of a small bass boat. And I mean, you can literally turn around and fish 360 degrees out of this thing. But that being the case, to be able to utilize that, you kind of have to go about rigging it a little bit differently. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but I'm figuring it out. The only thing I'm like trying to figure out right now is what I'm going to do with the flag. Because I mean, I have to run the flag, but in some cases, even the flag just being up back there kind of gets in the way. But for anybody that's new to the channel and hasn't seen the kayak yet, and I mean, I have made some changes to it. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a full walkthrough of the kayak and kind of show you some of the updates and things that I've done differently. So nothing has changed up front. Still running the Motor God XI3 on the Nucanoe bow mount motor bracket, and utilizing the Motor God XI3 quick disc. These plugs have been holding up awesome. I've had no issues out of these plugs, and the fact that you have these little plugs that you can pop in there and keep any moisture or anything from getting down in there is super nice. I did drill a hole in the release bracket here. Shift it over to the side a little bit. And I ran a little D-ring down here in the cover plate, and it's plenty strong enough for pulling on this paracord. But it's plenty strong enough for pulling on this paracord and releasing the motor. And then I have this green paracord to try and help slow it down, control it when you're deploying it, and also to retract it. So like I said, just using paracord, it's been working out great. I have added the gear pod, and all I'm using the gear pod for really is wire management for the fish finder, and it's housing my 30 amp hour Amped Outdoors battery. Typically I don't even keep soft plastics or anything in here. This is just kind of sitting in here from the last trip. This little Plano 3400 I'll keep my boat registration in, but I try to keep the front of the boat as light as possible. And the reason for that is, if you get into rough water or waves or boat wakes or anything, if you can keep the majority of the weight in the back, this boat will just kind of ride over those waves. The more weight you get in the front, the more it's going to want to just plow through them, and I prefer to ride over them. So like I said, just try to keep everything to the back, and it's going to be a super dry ride. Utilizing the Gadget through hole brackets. So my transducer is mounted with the Gadget switchblade transducer mount. That's running in and coming in through this through hole. Wires are all coiled up in there, come back out of this through hole and straight up into the fish finder. Now I do have the fish finder mounted on the gear pod. I was a little worried it was going to be a little bit too far away, but it's actually not that bad. You can still clearly see that 7-inch screen sitting from the seat, and you know, it keeps it out of the way, keeps it in the center of the boat, and it's worked out really well. Then I have two Gadget roto grip mounts. My original intention was to set the board in them and store it up front like this, but I do have the old style board, so with it having that rounded edge, that rounded corner back here, it won't really lock in. So what I did, I just slid them forward and I lay my board in there like that, and I have it tethered off to one of the roto grips. It doesn't go anywhere, and when I need to measure a fish, all I gotta do, pull it out, sit it down like that, take my picture. When I'm done, plop it back down on the front, and it's there and ready to go when I catch another fish. But since I was able to take all the rod holders off this black pack, I did turn it 90 degrees and slid it all the way as far back as I could in the kayak, and then moved my battery to the front. And I think that looked a lot cleaner personally, and it also freed up a little space to where I was able to slide the seat back a little bit and still be able to get that full swivel. So battery box is still working out great. I love that thing. You know, all you got to do is pull this strap off. You got the single handle, just one-handed, pick the battery up, put it in the truck, and take off down the road. But I'll try to link all these little parts and stuff in the description, and if you guys use the links and go and buy the product on Amazon, that really helps me out and helps the channel out, and helps to grow, and it also helps me do the giveaways. So the more you guys can help me out, the more I can help you out. So if you have any more questions about the kayak or the way I have things set up, feel free to drop it down in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.